Ball Nation, what's going on? Welcome into Tennessee Football Talk. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Joey Petersen. Coming up on today's show, we got a ton of recruiting to talk about. I get it. We are well underway through the 2025 college football season, but that does not mean that Josh Heupel has stopped recruiting, and I got to give a praise God to that. Is there another flip on the way for Tennessee? We've seen a ton of flips for the 2026 class in the last month and a half or so. There might be one more to monitor. And speaking of flips, this one for the 2027 class. Could Tennessee be taking a five-star wide receiver from Oregon? I'll talk more about that on the back half of today's show. Tennessee's recruiting kind of looks as follows. 2026, they are the 8th overall class via 24/7. They jumped from 10th to 8th with the flip from Tristan Keys. In that class, they have 2 5-stars and 13 4-stars, meaning they've got 15 blue-chip prospects in the class of 2026, which is far and away the most that Josh Heupel has ever had. For the 2027 class, they currently rank 33rd via 24/7. However, I'm not too worried about it. If you look at the recruiting points, they're like one commitment away from jumping from 33rd all the way up to like 15. It's 2027. We're going to wrap up the 2026 class, then focus on that and try to shoot up those rankings. First up, are the Tennessee Volunteers going to flip 4-star edge rusher and Virginia Tech commit Andrew Rogers? We got to talk about it because we've got some new information. This one, in my opinion, though, before we get into it, I'm just going to tell you, it kind of seems like it's inevitable that he at some point is going to flip to Tennessee. Big reason of that, Faison Brandon is his teammate in high school, 5-star quarterback in the 2026 class. And also, he was just here in Knoxville for the Georgia game, and he was absolutely blown away. He said the environment is the best in college football, hands down. What excites me is the fact that when I walk on the field, there's going to be thousands of fans that care for you, and they're to support me every game. Tennessee set the standard. Everybody is now under the standard until otherwise. And additionally, Virginia Tech said sayonara to their head coach, Brent Pry, this week on Sunday, right after they lost their third game of the season to Old Dominion 45-26. So, usually when a head coach leaves, that recruiting class crumbles, and that's kind of already started to happen to Virginia Tech. Up next, I'm going to tell you 2 expert predictions for Andrew Rogers. Both Steve Wiltfong and Chad Simmons weighed in on Rogers' recruitment throughout this week. I got to tell you what they got to say. But before that, I also got to tell you, if you have not yet, subscribe to the channel. It does not cost you a dime, and it helps us in our Week 4 sub battle. Right now, we're sitting in 3rd place behind Alabama and Michigan for our Chat Sports college football channels. 3rd place, we know that. We're Vol fans. That's not good enough for us. We got to prove we're the best fan base in college football. So if you haven't joined us yet, do it right now by hitting that big red sub button. And don't go anywhere because we are going to talk to 5-star wide receiver in just a couple of minutes. But before that, I got to tell you what both Chad Simmons and Wilt Fong said about Rogers. The 4-star defensive back, I think that was supposed to say defensive end, out of Greensboro, North Carolina, has been committed to the Hokies since August. But Tennessee has been pushing hard to flip him, and momentum is building. Wilt Fong went on to say, Rogers is looking to set up a visit to South Carolina, but the Rivals prediction machine is turning orange and white ahead of that one. I feel like this one is all but over, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Between him absolutely loving the environment when he was here, and being teammates with Faison Brandon and Virginia Tech firing their head coach, I think there's no way he ends up at VT. Now, does he come to Tennessee? I think that's looking good right now. He's got a lot of visits upcoming. One back to Knoxville on November 9th, but then he's also going to go to UNC. He's also going to go to Georgia. But as of right now, like Wilt Fong and Simmons said, it seems like all the momentum is heading towards Rocky Top. And the recruiting class behind him, the one that he's already part of, is already starting to crumble. Just this week, like happens every single time a head coach loses their job, the decommits start to come in. 4-star offensive tackle Thomas Wilder, no longer committed to the Hokies. 3-star defensive lineman Camden Gillespie, no longer committed to the Hokies. So will the 4-star edge rusher be next? I hope so. Do you think the Vols will flip Andrew Rogers? If you do, give me a yes in the comment section down below. And if you don't, for whatever reason, give me a no, but also tell me where you think he'll go down below. While you're down there, you'll find this link, chatsports.com/UT sweatshirt. Super awesome looking sweatshirt. Real simple, real clean, gray, big orange power tee. I don't know how you can want anything more than that. I do, actually, when I tell you it's $27. That's all. $27. This thing's $38 off. Chatsports.com/UT sweatshirt. That's the link. Again, it's in the comments and description. And you can take advantage of this deal while it still lasts. It's not going to last much longer. The colder it gets, the less this thing's going to be on sale. So get it while you can. So is there another 5-star flip on the way? You already flipped the 5-star wide receiver Tristan Keys, except Rivals is going to tell you he's no longer the top wide receiver of the class. I'm done with Rivals, if I'm being 100% honest. We only take our stuff from 24/7, and based on the 24/7 composite, Kesean Bowman, the wide receiver at Brentwood Academy, is still a 5-star. He's been committed to Oregon since July 24th of this year. So just a little bit under 2 months. He's a little bit wiry, 6'1", 174 pounds, definitely a slot-type wide receiver. But if we've seen anything from those A&M wideouts or Devontae Smith just 5 years ago with Alabama, those guys can be absolutely dominant. As a sophomore, just a sophomore in high school, he finished his season with 56 catches, 1,023 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And again, he's just down the road in Nashville, Tennessee at Brentwood Academy. He was in attendance, just like Rodgers was, for Saturday's game against the Georgia Bulldogs. So what that means is he got to see a couple of things, right? He got to see an unbelievable environment. He also got to see unbelievable wide receiver play. He's going to talk about that in a second before. Let's hear what he had to say about the visit. And well, I would say this is probably the best visit I've been on since I have been going to Tennessee. It was just the atmosphere, the environment. I was able to have a great conversation with Coach Pope as well. He is really easy to talk to. We don't just talk about football. We talk about my family and other stuff. We have great conversations. Every time I talk to him, I just like him as a person as well. And, let's be real. Kelsey Pope is on an absolute recruiting heater right now. You got 2 of the top 10 wide receivers in the class in Keys and King. Absolute studs. Celeste Moa as well. We all know that Kelsey Pope had a massive sway in that. But it really seems like Saturday night, the recruiting was done by the players. Right? It wasn't necessarily done by Coach Pope having conversations with him. No. The fact that Kesean got to see those 3 wideouts absolutely ball out against the Georgia Bulldogs, I don't know how you could be more convinced than that. Than seeing a guy like Chris Brazzell put up 6 catches for 177 and 3 tugs. Braylon Staley, 9 catches, 97 yards from a sophomore. Another sophomore, Mike Matthews, 5 catches, 59 yards. Those dudes were unbelievable, and he noticed. He said, I really like how they distribute the ball out to each receiver, and I like how there's not just one receiver getting the ball. All these guys are eating. Chris Brazzell had 170 yards, 3 touchdowns. Another receiver had 94 yards and a touchdown. I just like how they get the ball to each receiver, not just one guy. I like how they can all go deep as well. It is not just one guy that can run the routes. The best part about it all, though, is he went on to say, I'm definitely going to keep taking visits to Tennessee. It's still a long way away from signing day. I'm going to keep coming down as much as I can. And that's the great part. I get it. Oregon has had a ton of success recently. But do you know how long that flight is from Nashville, Tennessee to Oregon? That's a long flight. That's a long travel day. That's not easy as well. He could get to Neyland Stadium from Brentwood in 2.5 hours. Believe me, my wife lived in Nashville my senior year of college. I did that drive a ton. He's an in-state kid. It's not impossible. He's going to be at Tennessee again this year, I'm sure. I'm sure he's going to be at Tennessee a lot next year. I'm sure Coach Heupel, Coach Pope, they're going to start coming to those games. Tennessee has a big advantage of the fact that he is just a stone's throw away. And if Brazzell continues the ball this year, and Tristan Keys comes in as a true freshman, he balls out, it might happen. You might be able to flip the kid who would give you 2 straight years of 5-star wide receivers. Where do you think Bowman goes? Tennessee or Oregon? You let me know in the comment section down below. Give me a T for Tennessee, O for Oregon. Again, he's been committed to the Ducks since July 24th. That might change, though, in the next year. That's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you get me followed on social media. Twitter, Instagram, same handle, Joey Petersen 8. TikTok, Joey_Vols. I'm trying to grow that as much as I can recently. Kind of got the TikTok going again this week. So give me a follow over there if you like daily content. That's going to do it. Like I said, appreciate you guys for being here. As always, love getting to make daily content for you guys. So lock us in by subscribing.